Hello, hello, and welcome to the show. You are listening to Positive Mindset for Entrepreneurs. This is the show where you discover how to make money by being happy and get paid to be you. Oh, we love that, don't we? My name is Dana Wilde. I am your host. If you want a jolt of happy in your inbox every day, then make sure to check out my daily mantra at danawilde.com/mantra. danawilde.com/mantra. You'll love it. It'll lift you up, and then you can build your empire. That's how we do it here. So today you are going to discover how to break the habit of negative thinking. We had somebody write into the show, and here was the question. I have a question. What is an effective tool to overcome the block that it works for everyone but me? They can have what they want, whatever that is, but I can't. I know it's just a mental block, but I can't seem to shake it 100%. So that's a great question. And I'll bet you're not alone. I bet a lot of people, you see somebody else who's successful, and it's like, well, yeah, sure, that thing worked for them, but not me. And I liken this to other issues that we kind of think of as deep-seated. I don't know why some messages we feel like, "Oh, these are so hard to shake because 'cause they're so deep-seated." So, for example, "I'm not worthy," "I don't know what I'm doing," or my favorite, "I don't feel deserving." And so I'm gonna just start there talking a little bit about what happened to me. I started to notice way back in the day when I was first building my first business that there was this kind of message in self-development. There was this message in self-development that if you didn't feel deserving, you had to raise your deserve level. So there was this idea that you will never be successful if you don't raise your deserve level. You've got to feel more deserving. You've got to feel worthy. Now, I'm somebody, and at that time, certainly even more so true, where I didn't feel deserving. I don't know if it was partially, being raised as a Catholic or if it was the idea of like this, oh, how can I say I deserve it, but these people don't, or how they don't have anything I do. Like it was really complex for me to try to sort through it, how I could say to myself, oh, I am deserving or I deserve that. And I grappled with it for a long time, thinking about how can I fix this problem? How can I fix this problem and raise my deserve level? I've got to feel deserving. And everybody was saying, you're never going to be successful if you don't feel deserving. So I finally figured it out and decided, you know what? Maybe I don't need to feel deserving to be successful. Maybe I could just be successful anyway. And so rather than try to figure this issue out, I could just let it go and be deserving, feel deserving, let it build anyway. So what I started doing was saying a transitory statement using the word but, because the but is a power word in the English language. And what it does is it negates everything that comes before it. So when you say something like, I don't feel deserving, if you follow it up with the word but, anything that you say after that, your brain hears, but anything before that, your brain doesn't hear. So when you say, I don't feel deserving, but I'm making money anyway, your brain doesn't even hear the I don't feel deserving part. It only tunes into the other. So I just started making that my mantra. It wasn't really a mantra because it wasn't perfect language, but it's what I'd like to call a transitory statement. It kind of was getting me there. It was transitioning me to the place that I needed to be. So I don't feel deserving, but I'm making money anyway. But I'm allowing my business to grow. But clients are coming to me anyway. But I'm doing it anyway. But I'm making money hand over fist. But I'm growing my business. But my business is growing by leaps and bounds. Anything positive after it, your brain hears that. And by the way, you can use that for anything. And that's my point here with this today. We've got other words that we use like I'm not worthy. I don't know what I'm doing. And actually, side note, one of my favorite transitory statements of all time, you can write this one down because it's golden, is I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. That's one of my favorites. Okay. Because for truth, like that's most of us most of the time, right? We're just out here banging around. We don't really know what we're doing. We're just trying to figure it out, but we're doing it. So that's a great transitory statement. So here we've got this listener writing in saying, I've got a mental block. I've got this idea that it works for everyone but me. It works for everybody else, but it's not gonna work for me. So, the first thing I would say is I would start softening that story. I would start softening the problem isn't that it works for everybody else, but it doesn't work for you. The problem is that you keep saying that you've got a story that it works for everyone else, but not you. So did you catch that? You this story stays in place that you've got this feeling of it not working for everybody because you're the only one that's keeping it alive. So let's put it this way. If you could say to yourself, I used to have a story. I used to have a story that it works for everybody. Now you've kind of put that in the past because the thing you're keeping alive is the story about the story, right? So it's the story about the story about the story that's staying alive. It's not the actual reality of I feel this way. So the first thing is to soften that message, to really say to yourself, do you need to just wrestle that feeling to the ground and figure it out and solve it and come up with a new story? Or can you just go, you know what? It's been my habit of thought. I've got a history of a habit of thought that they can do it, but I can't. Or they can, I've got a habit of thought that they can do it. But now I'm shifting that. But now I've changed. But now I've just dropped that. But now I see that I can. Because the word that you're using but in your sentence, they can do it but I can't. You're only affirming the I can't part over and over and over and over again. So if you could shift that just to something a little softer, they can do it but I'm hopeful I can too. But I'm open to doing it. But I'd like to give it a go. But I'm open more and more open all the time. But I'm starting to notice that something shifted. But I'm feeling more and more like something shifted. Like if you could just soften the phrase, it would be better. Now, on the ground, boots on the ground, when you're actually in that moment, when you catch yourself. And remember, this is the whole game of brain training. The brain training isn't really the thinking of the better words part. The brain training is really the waking up to our stories part and catching ourselves doing those negative thought patterns. And you know when you're doing it, when you are out there and see somebody who's got what you want and you catch that feeling of like, oh, they can do it, but I can't. Cause it's got some traction. You're gonna have some times where you're gonna catch that until you get used to the new story. When you do that and you catch that, first of all, say to yourself quietly, like, ooh, good for me, I caught it. And then follow up with a little message quietly to yourself, I can have that too. I can have that too. And just say that. I can have that too. They're successful and I can have that too. They did that and I can have that too. I can have that. I can have that too. Like, feel how good that feels when you say that instead of the other. Sometimes I think we spend so much time focused on that one horrible thing that we want to change. We spend so much time focused on that one deep seated thing we want to change. Oh, I don't feel deserving. Oh, I don't feel worthy. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I look at other people and I get jealous of what they're doing or whatever the case is. That most of the time, we just need to like focus on something else and just drop it and quit keeping it alive and quit saying it. Just maybe almost tell ourselves like, you know what? I'm bored with that story. I've been saying that over and over for such a long time and I'm not even sure anymore if it's 100% true. I just keep saying it and I'm ready to let it go. And finally, the biggest thing I think is that we live in this culture and me too, like I'm in the self-improvement niche for the most part, right? I'm in the mindset niche and we get obsessed with self-improvement. We get obsessed with personal development. I'm as guilty of it as anybody. How can I fix this? How can I fix this one more thing? How can I hammer this out and fix this? And I think most of life really, the reality is we don't necessarily need to be fixing ourselves or being so perfect all the time or trying to like focus on that one thing that we haven't achieved perfection on. Most of the time it's just so much easier to just chill out and just relax and just go, it's okay if I don't feel deserving. I can be successful anyway. It's okay if I never fix this habit that I've got of saying that I can't do it because I'm going to be successful anyway. Even though I continue to say I can't do it, I'm still doing it, right? Even though is another good set of power words. Even though I'm saying this crazy sentence over and over again, I'm still successful. Even though I haven't dropped this habit, I'm still chilling out and having fun and feeling good. Like, let's give ourselves a break and just have a little more fun. Most of the time, the resistance and the stress and all of that stuff that we feel around self improvement, we're the only ones generating it. Like, really, it's so much easier just to relax and have fun and go, you know what? I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. I'm just banging around and figuring it out and having some fun and I'm going to figure it out. It's going to work for me and I may still get that tinge every so often of that, that person's got it and I don't, but I'm busting myself more often now. But I'm catching it all the time. But I'm feeling better about it. But I'm laughing it off more, right? All of those little ways that we can ease into it. It's so much better. So be gentle with yourself and tell yourself those nice sentences. Tell yourself those little sentences that sound like, I'm doing better and better with this. And I like the direction I'm headed. And I am getting better at this. And I do feel that things are shifting and I'm scads ahead of where I used to be. And I like that I'm moving forward and things are getting better for me. And I love seeing the little improvements and I'm getting better at being aware and I'm busting myself more often. And I'm so much better at relaxing and chilling and feeling good and just making fun of it all and knowing that I'm banging around here. And I do know that I'll figure it out. And I love that I can really embrace brain training and feel better and better all the time. And without a doubt, you've totally got this.